And welcome back to the Mecca Sports Podcast. I'm Brandon Miller,
And I'm George Gallo.
and this is the Mecca Sports Podcast. So, George, how have you been?
What's going on, man? Yo, big game last night, man.
Big
Big.
game, big game. I
Yo,
really did think we were going to lose that one.
I can't believe that. I remember right after all that happened, you called me, and I almost
Oh,
ruined it. I almost ruined it for you. I was a little ahead, but
y- y-
those final 30 seconds, man. What was your reaction like when we were down?
we were down
What was
six. Oh, we were
going
down
on?
five. Five. We were down
Yeah, we
five.
were down five. Like, what was going on? Like towards the end of that game, how were you feeling? You
Honestly,
feel
I was I
like
was
panic?
really I really kind of I say I have like 20% hope left, and the rest of it was sort of just like, yeah, we'll see y'all in game three. But like, let me tell you, great effort by the Knicks. Obviously, the refs helped us out a little bit, but nonetheless, they help everyone out once in a while. So I'm glad the refs were on our side yesterday. And New York up 2-0, baby. Come on.
Yo, I got up. I was sitting in my bed. I got up, man. We were down five, and my clip. I was ready to punch something. I wanted to smack. Yeah, I was ready to break my TV. I was so pissed off. And then I saw Jalen Brunson shoot that three, a bad bank. I was like, yo, now he's gonna hit something like that. And then
Right.
they didn't call a foul on Brunson or Hart on the inbound on Maxi. And then Devo hit it. I just remember going nuts. Yeah, that was the sickest
Yeah.
Knicks moment ever.
I
I
honestly, that was
sickest
probably one
Knicks
of the,
moment
yeah,
I've ever
probably one of the
witnessed in my
best ones I've
life.
ever witnessed, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, that was insane.
It was crazy. Honestly, the first shot that he missed, after he missed the first one, I was like, fuck. I was like, we definitely lost. I was like, so many things going through my head. I'm like, yeah, we're definitely out. We're definitely screwed. The Sixers dominated us this game, this, that, whatever. But Mitch or whatever, not Mitch, Hartenstein grabbed the board and, tough effort to throw it out to Anunoby, who kicked it back out to Devo, second chance, and, bang that. And look at us up 2-0.
Yeah. And game one, I was in the city game one. So I was at a bar, and as soon as the game was over, we ran over to MSG. You know, that place is gonna explode. That place is gonna explode if we go any deeper than the Eastern Conference Finals. Like when I tell you, there was cops all over the place, people screaming, "We ain't going nowhere." I got videos, "We ain't going nowhere." It's fucking Embiid, fuck Meek Mill. So many people. Trey Young.
Yeah.
That place was electric. I cannot wait to go back there this weekend.
Right. And, obviously the Knicks just might, wrap this up in four. And if they don't, game five will be in the Garden. So obviously,
It'd
we
be
got we
hard
got
not
a
to.
we got a nice advantage now. We take even if we only take one in Philly, we're bringing it back to, the Mecca. We're taking it, I guarantee you this series doesn't go past 5 games. I saw that Embiid was talking a lot of smack in his press conference saying that they're the better team. Him and Maxey both said that. They were saying that they didn't deserve either the losses or whatever. I feel like he has to own up to that a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, this was him in his post game interview. He was like, "Yeah, we're the better team. We're down 2-0. We're
Couldn't
still
even
gonna
look at the
win
camera.
this."
Couldn't even look at the
Yeah,
camera.
sitting there saying how bad the refereeing, and I hope he gets fined for that because you can't sit there and curse about the officiating. So he'll
Yeah,
get fined.
he'll definitely get a nice little check in the mail, but it won't be going
Yeah,
his way. He'll be sending one out.
but I don't understand the pushing and shoving. He got that technical when he pushed Devo in the beginning
Oh
of the game.
yeah, oh yeah.
How many times did they let him slide before that?
No, they let him do that too. They let him do it to Brunson the other day as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. He wouldn't stop the whole game at pushing after the whistle. Even Hartenstein, he was getting chippy with Hartenstein, shoulder pumping him. They would not call anything on him, and for them to finally call that, and he's getting in their face again, like, bro,
That's fine. That's fine.
they're giving him too much superstar treatment.
They
All
are.
these
They are giving him a lot.
Josh Hart's going straight up. They're calling fouls. I mean, the amount of moving screens he sets to is just unbelievable. It really is.
And it's surprising that he's setting moving screens because he can barely move as it is. So like you look at him, he was definitely injured in that game. There was no reason like in a regular season game, he's not playing. 100% he's not playing in that game. If you think about it, he's probably in the regular season with the way he's feeling right now, he's probably out for 2 weeks. But he has to suck it up for the playoffs. He's playing on a half of a leg at this point, and he's still putting up 30 something a night. So you got to respect that aspect.
Yeah, you could see him limping back on the other sides of the court. I like what they did the first games, how they made him walk up the ramp.
Right.
In the back of Madison Square Garden, there's a huge. It kind of looks like a parking garage.
Right. It's a huge ramp.
You gotta walk up this big ramp. And usually sometimes they'll give like carts and escorts, guys will take it, but making him walk up it's just mind games. You could see the fans were getting in his head. He missed both free throws. I think at one point, I think he was like 2 for 6 at one point for free throws. And
Oh yeah, he hit half his free throws
he's
yesterday, missed
great.
the other half.
He's a great free throw shooter. He's a 90% free throw shooter, so he's guaranteed to make them when he gets to the line. So for him, get the Knicks fans getting in his head, and you can see him in the play a little bit too. He's a little lackadaisical on defense.
Right. And we'll be taking game 3 to Philly Thursday. Obviously, when this drops, it'll be the day of the game, so that'll be exciting. And me and George will be probably on FaceTime again, celebrating another dub, hopefully. But
Another
let's
dub.
talk. Let's talk
Another-
about the other series going on. Obviously, not too much going on. Some games are gonna be played between tonight and Wednesday, obviously. But what do you see from the other series so far?
So I like what I'm seeing in the Bucks and Pacers series. I got my eyes on that one, obviously, because that's the winner of that series will be facing the winner of the Knicks Sixers series.
Right.
Indiana's they're not playing bad. They couldn't stop Damian Lillard game two. Game one was a lot closer. Siakam had a great game. Denver is dominating that series over with the Lakers. I know they only lost by a game winner to Jamal Murray the other night, but I still think Denver obviously is going to win in four. Another series I think is upset alert. Dallas is down 2-0 right now to the Clippers. I see
Right.
Dallas coming back and winning that series
Really.
in seven. Kawhi's not healthy. And Luka and Kyrie is they're scoring 30 every night. And it's only a matter of time before they go off for more than 30 and they get some pieces around them to start stepping up and helping out.
Right. And to me, honestly, one series I'm intrigued by a lot, not even in the Eastern Conference, the West, I could totally see the Pelicans taking down the Thunder. I was watching the game the other night, game 1. The Thunder looked horrible. Regardless of the fact that they won the game or whatever, they are not the same as they were in the regular season. You could obviously tell, they're missing size down low. Chet can't bang with Valanciunas and all those other guys on the Pelicans. Zion, you name it. Obviously, Zion wasn't playing, but imagine he was. The
Uh,
rebound margin would have been a lot different. Probably would have been even more. But I could see the Pelicans taking that series in about 6 games. Hopefully, if they can win tonight and they can get back to the New Orleans, I could see them maybe taking both New Orleans and then maybe upsetting them in OKC. But we'll have to see.
yeah, I think OKC was on upset alert. I had them I thought the Lakers were going to get the 8th seed, so I thought
Right.
originally the Lakers were going to upset them. But now I think OKC will win the first round and I had Dallas going to the Western Conference Finals,
Wow.
which beat Clippers and beaten OKC. It's just an experience. OKC is a very young team.
Right.
Really don't have any vets. I think their only vet is Gordon Hayward right now.
Youngest team in the NBA.
Yeah. So there's not really much veterans that have been there and done that, and to kind of teach these guys the ways and kind of show them the feel of playoff basketball in the NBA because it's a much different game than regular season. A lot slowed down, and they kind of take away those things that easily players have in their bag in the regular season.
Right. So before we switch over to obviously the NFL draft, because the day of this dropping will be the NFL draft, I want to ask you a question about the NBA. So as you've seen the playoffs so far, who is one player that has surprised you and that you're really excited about for the future and for this playoff season?
So I'm gonna have to stay with my Knicks. There's I could go a lot of other places, but how about Miles McBride? How about the minutes he's been giving us in the playoffs?
Give us good
Nobody,
minutes.
nobody outside of New York really knows him.
It's
Uh, you
true.
know, he's a guy we signed to a 3-year, $12 million deal. If in the NBA right now, that's chips and cookies compared to these guys' NBA contracts.
It's true.
Single-handedly won us game one in the fourth quarter, and even in game two, he stepped up and had some big buckets in the fourth quarter for game two as well. I'm just so happy to see him and Bronson be able to share the backcourt together as well too, because I think that's a great backcourt when Devo is out.
Right. And you want to know what makes me feel even better about Miles McBride's contract? The fact that boy in Philly, Tobias Harris, is making 10 times the amount of money per year than him. So
Yeah, that's
that's
such a
just
big.
that's something right there that just shows you. But I'd say one player that's excited me so far in this playoffs. I don't know he's only played one game so far, but Ant Man. And I was not an Ant guy. I'm gonna be honest. Like I was a big hater on Ant, to be honest. But
Yeah, we know.
he's definitely changed my perspective a little bit based off that game one. I like the way he plays. I like the way he's not scared to talk dirt to the vets and stuff. But hopefully Katie doesn't go on a little tear. He shouldn't. But if Katie gets crazy, then you never know what'll happen. But we'll move over now to the NFL. George,
Yeah, draft night.
draft night. The day of this being dropped will be draft night. So, George, what are the Giants doing at 6?
This is they could do so many things here. I'm actually very scared. The Giants normally don't pick well inside the top 10. If you go back and look at this
Right.
any regime, it doesn't matter. It's a New York Giants. You go back and look at this past 10, 15 years at their top 10 picks and Eric Flowers,
Oh,
Daniel Jones, Saquon's not even on the team anymore.
I think we had a
Um, I,
DeAndre
I,
Baker, right?
yeah, no, DeAndre Baker was a
Oh,
late first round pick.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, you're
thinking
right.
of I can't think of his name right now.
Evan
His
Neal.
cornerback. Yeah, Evan Neal's another one. So there's just guys that that aren't like they aren't doing nothing for us right now. Odell's not even on the team, but he wasn't in the top 10. But anyway, I would like to see us trade back. I think at number 6, I think that with either Neighbors or Marvin Harrison not being on the board, I think selecting Rome at 6 would be
A bit of a
mm,
reach.
for value. Not, I think he's a great player, but I think taking him at 6 is not a great value pick.
Right.
You could go offensive tackle. It all depends on if the Chargers do anything in front of us at 5 at offensive tackle. If they don't, probably most likely to address the receiver position. I don't think this is the year to take quarterback. We have Daniel's going to be healthy. We're stuck with him because of contract issues. You have a guy in Drew Lock who could play if needed. You have Tommy Cutlets who has starting experience under his belt. You got 3 guys on the roster right now that could play quarterback. Why not try and dress everything else? And you could possibly think that next offseason you'd make that trade. You get a future first next year. You got 2 first round picks. You could trade for a guy. You could trade up. You got flexibility to what you want to do for quarterback for next year.
Right. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you. At 6, I like the idea of trading back. If we aren't going to trade back, there's only 3 players that would keep me at pick 6 to draft. It would be Neighbors, Marv, and May. If none of those 3 are there, I don't want to draft at 6. I don't care if it's attack. I don't care if it's Rome. I don't care if it's all. I don't really care who it is. I don't care if it's McCarthy. I don't want them at 6 if it's not those 3 guys. Now, trading back, there's been a lot of news of us trading back with Denver and Minnesota, 2 teams that are looking to pursue a quarterback heavily. Obviously, Denver just traded for Zach Wilson, but I don't see him being their long-term option. I think they want to get another young guy in there to compete with Zach Wilson. I saw them being linked to JJ McCarthy. I also saw a thing where they'd be willing to give up Patrick Surtain and 2 firsts to move up into the top 10 picks or whatever, something like that. So let's say they come to the podium and the Giants go to the podium and the Broncos really want the quarterback sitting there, whether it's McCarthy, May, Daniels, whatever. Let's say they pick up the phone, they offer you Patrick Surtain and you move back 6 spots, but they don't give you next year's second. Do you take it?
Just PS2 and
Just
12 for.
PS2 and just 12. I don't would you take it?
No, I can't do that.
So you're gonna force another a first out of them, is what you're
They're
saying.
gonna if they're gonna have to give me their first next year because they're gonna be god awful. I need that first next year. You're trading into the. I'm going out of the top 10. I'm getting a
Right,
guy in PS2. He's a great young corner, but he's got a contract attached to him.
right.
Not a big contract, but it's a contract. So with that first round pick next year, that gives me flexibility to play around with the quarterback position, whether I want to move up in the draft, I want to trade for one. And even though the Broncos will probably be bottom 10, bottom 5 in the league next year. So I wouldn't do a move for PS2 and 12-6. Would you?
I mean, I see, here's where I'm looking at it. If I'm gonna get those guys, obviously PS2 is gonna help us out a lot. That'll basically solidify our secondary and our whole defense would be amazing. But then again, it comes to the point where we're lacking offense. We're not really lacking defense. So as much as it sounds like a cool idea and stuff, I it seems enticing, but for me, I still need more. Like you said, I'm gonna need, first this year, PS2, and at least a second next year or this year. Just alone. If realistically, my ideal deal would be a first, and PS2. But obviously, we'll wait and see for that. But I wouldn't trade with the Vikings because I don't really see pick 11 and 23 being that much of value to us, really.
Well,
It's all line.
I
What
was
do you
gonna
say?
ask you, what if they offer three first round picks and a second round pick for six? They give you 11, 23. They give you next year's first, and maybe they give you next year's second for number
Then
six.
then then we
And
talk a little bit
maybe like we give them like a fifth, or we give them
like
like
a fourth
a BJ. I mean
OG.
Ojulari,
Yeah,
Aziz. BJ's his brother from the Cardinals, the better one.
yeah, the
Um,
better one.
yeah, the better one. The barely even plays, and he's still the better one.
Yeah, well, at least he
Yeah,
plays. So,
I can't stand Aziz Ojulari, man. That's out of all the Giants players, that's my least favorite. So I like
well,
to see him get attached because I feel like he's got decent value. He's a young pass
right.
rusher. Decent enough value for a team would take a flyer on him.
Yeah, right. And obviously he could produce when he's on the field. It's just he's never on the field. But obviously, if you can keep him healthy, then you might have something solid there. It's like a second edge rusher or a third edge rusher. But, you
Well,
know,
I think with us, he would be good behind Burns and
that's what I also think too.
situational pass rushing, or just coming in as a sub for them.
Right. But then again, if we do get rid of him, I think he's coming up on a contract year very soon. I don't know. I think it's this year.
Yeah,
But
this is last season on his rookie
so
deal.
maybe getting rid of him might be beneficial for both parties. He'll get paid maybe, and then we'll get a nice little return at maybe like a fifth or a sixth pick. But, you
So
know,
would you do that? Would you do that deal with the Vikings?
oh yeah, 100%. For
Yeah.
three first, anything for three first, I'd do. But I don't care where they are. If it's three first, I'll take it. But it makes it more easy for you to hit on a pick rather than you get one pick, and if you don't hit it, then you're screwed. Especially with us needing very big positions like wide receiver and quarterback. Um, so I saw a lot of things of the Giants trading up in the draft. I saw also, I think it was trading up with the Patriots and trading up with the Cardinals, I believe. I saw that the Patriots are now open to trading the third pick. I don't know if that's just a smoke screen. I don't know if some of their minds changed or something, but what are your thoughts on trading up to draft a quarterback?
See, I don't think that's necessary. If we traded up to three and we took Marvin, yeah, I would be happy.
Yeah, but the value, if for
Listen,
the thing
but
is, they're not trading you the value of trading up for a quarterback. Like you're not trading. Well, what I meant to say is you're not trading up for the value of a wide receiver. You're trading up for the value of a quarterback. So no matter what, you're gonna overpay for a
yeah,
wide receiver.
I get that though. But listen, I think he's going to be generational. I think
He
he's
could
going to be.
be.
I think he's going to be better than neighbors. I think he's going to be the best receiver right away outside the draft. We've seen it. You know, forget Chase, forget Justin Jefferson. Going even all back to Odell and Jarvis and Amari Cooper, guys like that. Like I think that this guy is going to be legit one of the best receiver prospects in the last 20 years.
Right. So let's just say this. Let's just say the Giants trade up. They draft Mayor Daniels because it's gonna probably be or McCarthy. Let's say in the moment we trade our first this year, our first next year, and a second next year. So that's mainly what it's gonna and maybe like Aziz Ojolari or whatever. We'll add some player, Darius Slayton, because he's unhappy with his contract or whatever. We'll figure that out. But obviously, let's say it works out and the quarterback situation is perfect. McCarthy, May, or Daniels is putting up, 30 plus touchdown passes, not turning the ball over. What are you with that? Like, in your opinion, is that worth it for them to be like scraping top 10 in their first season?
Listen, I don't think they're gonna play right away. It's even if we go can move up and draft the quarterback, they're still imminent to making Daniel Jones the starter if he's healthy.
Yeah,
So I think it's his because of his contract, it's his job to lose. No matter
right.
even if you move up to draft the guy in the top three. I mean, eventually you're gonna have to play him because you made that investment in him. But I just think that with a contract attached to Daniel Jones and the fact that you can't do anything with him, why move up and make a deal for a guy that's probably not going to play much in his first year? And what if Daniel Jones does play well
It's
and you
true.
want to keep him? And now you got a dilemma where like a Trey Lance dilemma where you got to move him and settle.
Right.
Um, it come back to haunt us. The Giants normally don't make great draft decisions. So I think whatever they do, the best thing they could probably do is just trade back and get more picks.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm on the same boat as you. I think if either one of those teams traded with us, the Vikings or the Broncos, if there's a quarterback there at 6, they're gonna try and trade with us. It's just a matter of, it's gonna be McCarthy or it's gonna be May.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's the one. I think both of them are more interested in McCarthy for some reason. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I
hope
see a lot of people linked to McCarthy. I've even seen Washington linked to McCarthy as well at 2.
it's true.
So I think Caleb going 1, and I think the rest of it from 2 to 3 is
Could be a surprise,
yeah, because I think 4 to 5, if they stay, they'll probably be receiver.
right?
So 2 to 3, and then 6, 7, and after that, it's going to be pretty interesting.
And you think about it, honestly, most likely picks 3 and 4 really determine this draft because obviously Washington and Chicago are taking quarterbacks, so we know that. But you think about the Patriots could go receiver if they really wanted to. So could the Cardinals, but the Cardinals could also are a big trade out spot, obviously, like we said. So we won't really know how we're gonna, figure out who's going where and who's doing what. We'll have to wait and see for that. But let's talk about some other news in the NFL that happened today. I saw the Texans released 4 new uniforms. I don't know if you got a chance to look at them yet, but
I saw their helmets.
let me tell you, if you take a look at those uniforms, those are probably the crispiest uniforms I have ever seen in the NFL. They are
See,
4 new
now
uniforms.
now this is my whole thing with Houston. This is smart for them to rebrand right now. This is the best they've
This is
been
the
in a
best
very
time.
long
It's the
time.
best time to rebrand.
They have a really good team. Look at the streamer sketches blowing up, repping that
Yep.
Texas jersey everywhere.
Right.
That's smart for them to rebrand like that and kind of take the Texans to the next level, because if you look at their franchise history, they've only been around in the 21st century and really haven't had any success.
Yeah, and I believe in I think it was their color rush uniform. They threw in colors that they've like never used before. Like they threw in a Carolina blue and they like
Yeah,
mixed it with red and like it was crazy. It was insane. And they switched their logo on their helmet. I saw the red helmet. The red helmet's crazy.
yeah,
And then
I saw the helmets were really cool.
yeah, honestly, great job by the Texans because honestly, I've been underwhelmed with a lot of the uniform changes this year, like the Jets and the Broncos. I thought both of them were very like mid. I don't think they
Did you
were.
see Giants leaks?
Oh,
The
if the
Giants,
Giants leaks are real, I will lose it.
yo, those were the ugly.
Those
The
are
Giants already have
the
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 title for
the
ugly jerseys in the league already.
the stripe uniform, correct?
Yeah, that was
Oh
the most
no. Oh
embarrassing jersey
no.
I've ever seen in my life, and if that's real, I, I'm not watching the game with them wearing that
I
jersey. That
really don't think they're gonna get. I mean, if anything, that'll be like a third or fourth uniform. But
no,
oh
we can't wear
God,
that.
that's
We
really
cannot wear
bad.
that.
That is really bad.
I would
But
just rather the plain red. I think I think
the
that looks better.
the plain red from like 2010.
Yeah, that's I mean, then a white jersey with a red stripe and blue lettering.
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
That's
I has to be that has to be a control. Can't be real.
I've seen a lot of verified accounts, like a lot of real accounts posting, and it was starting to scare me.
All right. So before we end the pod and all that, I want to ask you a question. So obviously, throughout the years, there's been big draft day trades. We've seen it a couple times. We've seen it with, AJ Brown getting traded to the Eagles. That was a crazy trade on draft day that no one expected. I believe Randy Moss got traded to the Patriots back. I don't know when that was, but I remember it happening. So obviously, there's been a lot of big draft day trades, and a lot of like receivers have been getting traded during the draft. Do you see anyone in particular? It doesn't have to be a receiver getting traded during the draft,
I think Ayuk is a candidate.
right?
I think that's a guy that's most likely to get traded. Um, you see, it's hard. Justin Jefferson is a guy that's in a lot of trade rumors.
T.
T. Higgins,
Higgins,
is another guy.
right?
Um, it's going to be interesting because there are teams out there that a lot of guys are unhappy with their position and with the current state of the team right now. So you could see a few teams making moves, and even if they're moves for picks that could possibly have players in there as well, like we were talking about Ojolari or
Right.
something like that. So we could see some, maybe not top name players, but some notable names getting moved for some deals, for maybe even some second day draft picks as well.
Right. And all I'm gonna hope for is Philly, Dallas, Washington. Just don't do anything crazy at the fucking whatever the draft. Just pick your
How he's
player.
up. How he's moving up.
Just have guys just don't do anything crazy. Like the Eagles are trying to move up right now. Like you guys got enough. Don't you guys don't need to rub it in anymore. Like we get it. You guys are masterminds with the GM and stuff, but just chill. You guys don't need all those players. Plus, you're backloading everything. You guys are gonna be terrible in like 10 years. So just relax.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, the Eagles are going to make some crazy moves. There's always that one guy that falls in the draft due to injury or
And it goes to the
something happens.
Eagles or the Cowboys.
Something happens right before the draft. Someone is using the face mask to smoke, or someone's in a high speed chase, and they
Yup.
fall. Eagles are gonna come swoop them right up, and they're gonna give the Giants problems 2 times a year.
Yeah.
It always happens. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's
And
gonna happen.
it happened that one year with CeeDee Lamb too. Same thing
Yeah.
happened with CeeDee Lamb. And I believe didn't they trade in front of us to get Devontae Smith?
Yep.
Yep. Imagine Devontae Smith should have been a Giant. He was literally sitting there on the board. They traded up to the pick in front of us and drafted Devontae Smith.
Well, he was linked to the Giants for a while before the draft happened.
I thought he was a lock to the Giants because a lot of people were having him being like the third receiver off the board due to his size.
Yeah, but he was a Heisman winner, and I mean, coming right into the NFL, he just started producing right away.
Yeah, that was frustrating because two receivers that we missed on that we could have had. We could have had CeeDee Lamb, we could have had Devontae Smith, and now they're both the division rivals. And we could have had Micah Parsons too, but we traded back.
Yeah.
All these guys.
I Yeah, that trade back was a little questionable.
That was yeah, it was very questionable in my opinion.
We did get another top 10 pick out of it,
We did.
but
What we drafted? Did we draft Evan Neal with that?
yeah, we took Evan Neal with that. We had
Oh,
Kayvon with our pick and Evan Neal with their pick.
wow, just wow.
So yeah, that probably didn't pan out for
Let's just say
too
this:
well.
if Evan Neal is not good this season, then we just suck at drafting because
Yeah. Yeah.
he literally can't get any worse. It's only up from here, I hope.
He, trust me, he could get worse. There's worse.
Oh, I really hope not. I really hope not.
There's worse. I think moving him to left guard could benefit him best. Moving him next to
But
Andrew.
he's selfish. He doesn't want to play guard.
So then you gotta, I don't know, you cut him
He
at that
wants
point.
he wants
Yeah,
tackle he wants tackle money. That's the problem. He wants to play tackle because he knows that's where the money's at.
but he's not gonna make any money in this league by his performance. I mean,
He thinks he
you
can
look,
turn it around.
I mean, just looking at his pass set and his form, you just looked like a guy who didn't know how to play football at right tackle. He looked lost out there a lot of the times.
Yeah, well, obviously, I remember that one time he was like DMing the fans on Instagram. He's like, you guys probably flip burgers or whatever,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
remember that?
He's about to be the one flipping burgers this after this season if he doesn't
Yeah,
perform. Because I
no,
don't think
seriously,
anyone's,
that
or
guy.
he'll be in the XFL or something. I don't know, but
XFL. You know who I seen in the XFL? Wayne Gallman scored his first
Wayne
touchdown.
Gallman, Giants legend, Giants
Yeah,
legend.
that guy should be a backup right now for us.
He should. He was
Man,
the Wayne train was something to reminisce about. But
him,
you know,
Jennings.
it's true. Craig Jennings, man. Let me tell you, I miss him. All the old running backs, besides Saquon Barkley, that guy's a tool. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs, all those guys that we miss. But with that being said, that's gonna wrap up the Mecca Sports Podcast for today. I'm Brandon Miller,
I'm George Gallo.
and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.